Okay, quick lesson today. Remember last time we did the two dimensions, right? We said that a foot, I don't know, let's say 6 feet. That's a length, right? You just go, oh, I'm going to measure this as one dimension. But if somebody said to you 6 feet times 4 feet, you went, oh, okay, it looks like this. 6 feet over here, going from here to there, stopping right there, times 4 feet. Okay, we'll go up to here. That's a 4 feet. That's 6 feet. So what we have is we have two dimensions, right? So 6 feet times 4 feet, that's 24 feet. But we have a little 2 to tell us that there are two dimensions to this thing. We're not talking about a length, how long is your pet snake or whatever. We're talking about how many, how big is your pet snake's aquarium or snakarium or whatever those things live in, okay? How big is it? Well, it's 24 square feet is the big thing that's in my room, and I hope he doesn't get out, whatever. That's how much flat area he has to crawl around in my room. Let's make it that, not an aquarium, something 2 dimensions. Okay. Now this here is 3 dimensions. You can see, right? In other words, if you could kind of see through this thing, if it were kind of, like see-through or something, like a glass. Oh, I'm the pits at drawing these straight lines. Okay. How about that right there? Boom. That's pretty good, I guess. Okay. That's like a 3D, object. You can kind of see through it or whatever. Well, look at this. This is 3 dimensions. It's 5 inches one way, 3 inches the other way. Now stop. That's what we had before, right? For example, if that were 3 by 5, that's 2 dimensions, right? This is also a height, which means it's a 3D object. You ever see that word before? 3D. That's what that means. That's where that comes from. Okay? So instead of having 2's, guess what we're going to have? That's right. As long as you said 3. If you said something else, bad guess. Okay, 3 dimensions. You can count them. 1 through 3 dimensions, boom, there you go. And this is called volume. It's not length like 6 feet. It's not area like 2 dimensions, 24 square feet. This is something that's going to be inches this time, and the answer is going to have a 3 by it to tell the person who's looking at it, oh, this is a 3D object. The word volume means how much space is this going to fill up? Okay, in other words, a box of cereal, or I'm trying to think of something homeschooling. A big bag of gluten. Okay, that mom pours down your throat for breakfast or something like that. Okay, or the number. Let's say you go to a processing plant for your pet goats. Make meat and okay. All right. So the question is, you tell me how many 1-inch sugar cubes are needed to form this rectangle prism. Well, look at the very bottom of this thing. You can see that this is 3 or 5. Excuse me. I'm just gonna kind of go like this and kind of like go draw across. It's just horrible. Anyway, so you can see here that there are 5 cubes. Let's just pretend that you kind of had this thing right there. There's a cube right there. Well, there are 3 of them right here, right? 1, 2, and 3. Well, how many rows of 3 are there? There's this row, there's that row, 3, 4, and 5, right? Because of the 5. So 15 of those cubes will fit on the bottom layer of this thing, right? But of course, how many layers are there? You can see there are 4, right? So the answer to this will be this times this, which is 15, times the number, times the height, okay? And remember, it doesn't matter, when you multiply 3 numbers, it doesn't matter what order you multiply numbers in, right? So you could do 4 times 3 times 5, 5 times 4, whatever, okay? But the answer is 60. So because 12 times 5 is 60, or 20 times 3 is 60, or so on. That's how many cubes will fit into this thing. That's the definition of volume. How many will fit into whatever? That's what volume is. That's all there is to it. So let's look at another. What's the volume of this cube? The edges are 10 centimeters long. Now, you might be thinking, well, everything's missing. How much is this right here? How much is this right here? Well, a cube, by definition, is a 3D, basically a square in 3 dimensions, which means all the lengths of all the sides and will be exactly the same. So if they tell you a cube, that means that this is a 10, and that means that this is a 10. So the volume of a cube with the edges of 10, well, it'll be 10 times 10, which is 100, times 10, which is 1,000. Okay, if you think about this, visualize this, all right? You tell me, pretend this is a giant layer cake, okay? It's a birthday cake. Okay, and then, you know, this is, there we go. There we go. There's a little, you know, this is for a 3-year-old, very rich 3-year-old, 10-layer cake. Okay. Well, how many pieces of cake, if you cut them perfectly into centimeter pieces, which would be terrible, how many pieces would you get at this bottom layer? You can see that you get 100 pieces, right? Because there's 10, you know, rows of 10, correct? So this right here, this row is 100 pieces of cake. And of course, there are 10 layers of this, so the number of pieces would be 1,000 pieces of cake. That's volume. That's all there is to it. Just make sure you get it in your head that there are 3 dimensions, which means your answer is going to be, when they say what's the volume of a cube, 10 centimeters, you're going to say, don't just say 1,000. Go ahead and put centimeters in there. And don't just put centimeters. This is a length, right? How long was the pet snake? 1,000 centimeters. Well, we don't want that. We also don't want a 2, right? Because that would be a flat surface. That would be area. What we want is a 3D object. That's where we're going to put 3 right there. That's what 3 means. Okay. All right. Let's take a look at your practice problems. And there's only 3 of them. So pause it and give that a whirl. Okay, the answer to the first one, how many sugar cubes would fit? Well, on the bottom layer, 16 would fit, right? But how many layers do you have? You have 4. So 16 times 4, 64. Okay, B, what's the volume of that thing? 5 by 3 by 2? Well, we don't have a picture of it. We don't care. 5 times 3 times 2 is 30. So that's the volume. Now make sure you have feet as your unit and it's cubic feet. Okay, make sure because you have 3 dimensions. All right, C, there it is. It's 10 by 6 by 4. Okay, the actual, how many cubes can fit in the bottom layer, like our cake? 60 cubes, right? How many can fit in the entire thing? Well, there's 4, you know, levels to this thing, like a 4-layer cake. So 60 times 4 is 240. There you go. Okay. Have fun with volume today. More geometry that Saxon sneaks in there. Hope you enjoy that. See you guys next time.